As we get older, three things happen. First, our memory goes. And then, I don't remember the other two. While many of us struggle to accept it, aging is a fact of life. The roads are an extremely dangerous place to be. And let's face it, some people over the age of 70 are no longer suitable to being behind a wheel. I know, most of you will say, Grandpa will drive forever. And while he just may, it's time we ensure his safety as well as those around him on the roads. A recent report in 2014 by the Detroit Free Press indicated that 90% of Americans 65 years of age or older will still have their driver's license in 2034. A road test should be required every 3 years for individuals 70 years of age or older. Today, I want to walk you through some threats facing public safety, why health deterioration is hurting our senior citizens behind the wheel, and finally, why we need mandated testing. First off, I'd like you to take a look at our first slide and some alarming statistics. According to Senior Driving at AAA.com, senior citizens have the highest crash death rate per mile driven, even though they drive fewer miles than younger drivers. A recent study from the University of Virginia indicated that crashes involving senior citizens was the highest among any age group, and that senior citizens are the most cited individuals for failing to yield, improper turns, and illegal lane changes. On slide number 2 here, I want you to see some alarming statistics that you may look for in your own family members that help you analyze their circumstances. I get it, none of us want to be told what to do, especially not our parents and grandparents. But the reality is, we have an obligation to help them see sometimes something that they can't see in themselves. The safety of themselves, along with others that share the road with them, is important, and it's too important to allow our stubborn ambitions to get in the way. The proof's in the pudding. As medication usage increases and physical abilities decrease, senior citizens pose a very strong hazard on the roads and therefore a big threat to our safety. Now that we've identified the problem, let's look at some of the reasons that the health deterioration in senior citizens is affecting their driving abilities. On to our third slide. The Journal of Aging and Social Policy states that concerns over the competence of older drivers have led to increasing discussion over mandatory age-based testing. Although Americans are healthier and living longer than ever, it's estimated that they're outliving their ability to drive safely by 7 to 10 years. It's estimated that 80% of 70-year-olds suffer from arthritis or crippling inflammation, which makes things like flexing, twisting, and turning extremely painful while they're driving. The Sage Journal reported in 2012 that cognitively challenging driver environments pose a particularly high risk for elderly drivers. According to Institute studies, drivers 75 years and older are 10% more likely than 30 to 59-year-olds to be involved in a two-vehicle crash. Analysis of insurance claims data reinforces these findings, indicating that the increase in older driver liability for these injuries in their crashes. Among older people, the property damage liability claims rate starts climbing at the age of 70 and is at its highest at the age 85 and older. Compared with drivers aged 30 to 59, those 75 and older show increasingly higher bodily injury rates. By the age of 85 and older, those rates are about 80% higher than individuals aged 30 to 59 years old. While we know what's putting our elders in harm's way, I want to look at our final slide and see what we can do for solvency. Testing. A driving test will be required every 3 years for individuals 70 years of age and older. Now I know, many of you say to yourself, isn't re-examining someone who's been driving their entire life a bit much? Well, according to the Secretary of State of Michigan, we're currently already handing out over 400 driving reevaluations every year, most of which are being given to them from family members that are concerned about their loved one's safety. Most people struggle with the issue of when an elderly person should stop driving because it signals their loss of independence. But it's imperative we use critical assessments. While some feel this will limit their ability and strand them at their homes, The influx of public transportation, like Uber, have made people more mobile than ever. In fact, Maju of the New York Times reports that Uber is transforming transportation like Amazon transformed the shopping centers. Well, there you have it. We talked about some of the major threats facing public safety, why deteriorating health concerns make senior citizens a risk behind the wheel, and finally, why we need mandated testing. A driving test should be required every 3 years for individuals 70 years of age and older. This really will help all of us be a little bit safer.